Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show live stream and the podcast. How are you this morning? Counting our days down towards Christmas. 21st, of course, the solstice. Some might say this is around this time when the sun, the one in the sky, is reborn. A special day today for the pagans and those who are watching the sun return, be reborn, which I think, according to Mrs. M, who had a great time last night, she was out on the lash. I'll keep my voice down, taking it easy this morning. She is, and had a lovely birthday yesterday. Oh, where did we go to yesterday? We went to Lorigna. Been a few years since we've been there. Apart from going to the dinosaur park, Lorigna is a beautiful little town. And we found a fabulous cafe in the park there and had a very nice time. We had tacos, shrimp tacos, great burger, and a prego sandwich. Very, very good indeed. So that's I forget the name of the cafe, but it is Portuguese for stork. So somebody might be able to help me out with that this morning. But a lovely day yesterday with Mrs. M. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. M. Take it easy this morning. Shh. Right, yeah, we need to not be shouting too much here in the studio this morning. Mrs. M has a slightly sore head. I hope you're well. I hope your festivities are going well. What you're doing, do let us know in the chat. How are your preparations going for the festive period, if you have any at all? Good time for not shaming anyone who's not taking part in the festive period. For our part, we do like to light up Christmas, and we've been doing so on our homepage. All the W's, goodmorningportugal.com. And quite honestly, I can't remember what we've got. Oh, I think we've got Peter Farry this morning, haven't we, for you over there? Wonderful song called Father Christmas, Peter Farry. Oh, I got me wires crossed. Peter Farry was yesterday. He was window number 20. And this morning is Les's poem, which we played for you yesterday. T-Duck is up tomorrow on the 22nd. And by tomorrow, I think what we'll have tomorrow is we'll see some of Veronica's snaps from VRSA when she joins us at 9 this morning. And we'll turn that into a video. So VRSA will be well represented tomorrow. And I think our own video will be out and about with the family tomorrow night in Algarve, and probably San Martino as well, getting truly into the festive mood after the end of live streaming for this year tomorrow morning, when Frank will join us, hoping Bobby can join us as well. And what I'll do is I'll drop the link onto the screen. So if you want to jump onto the screen tomorrow and wish a festive greeting to the Gumper community, you can come and do that tomorrow as well. So a bit of a free-for-all tomorrow. Today, Veronica and Carl Hyde, of course, our man in Lisbon, the British gentleman in Lisbon, and the American in the Algarve this morning at 9 o'clock and 9:30 as usual. And we'll be finding out from them what's the score or what's in store for 2024. But yeah, over on our video advent calendar, it was Peter Farry yesterday. And I urge you to have a listen to his Father Christmas tune. Not yet. This is over on the homepage. He's window 20 and 21. Today's advent window is Les, the Caldash crooner, with his own poem that he wrote, Christmas Fair, F-A-R-E. The wise men of the Gumpocalypse. Two of the wise men of the Gumpocalypse. Is James okay? Find out if James is okay. I think the solstice, you're right. I think the solstice is actually tomorrow in this time zone. I think it's in the early hours of tomorrow, isn't it? But the point being that the sun will be reborn, as it were, and its trajectory will change. And the lighter days are returning, friends. And that's why I chose that meme this morning. This is a Victor Hugo. Winter is on my head. That's probably something that's come through in the translation from the French, presumably. On my head. Winter is on my head, but eternal spring is in my heart. I breathe at this hour the fragrance of the lilacs, the violets, and the roses, as at 20 years ago. And it's amazing, isn't it, what the fragrance can do? Can take you back even more decades than 2 there, as Victor Hugo puts it. Very good. Like that one a lot. Let's see what we've got then from the wise men of the Gunpocalypse. Raldenaut is in now. Bon dia todos. Boas festas. He's getting in the festive mood there for sure. First to send us an Advent video this year. Cheers, John. I hope you're doing well. I know you get excited about Christmas, or I get a sense that you do. What's the latest development up there? Has Catface finally pulled over the whole tree yet? I think this is Catface's first Christmas, isn't it? And it'll be our first Christmas with 3 cats. None this time last year. Suddenly there are 3 in Carl Munson. It's going to be interesting. Bon dia, Gumpers. In fact, that's one of my Christmas gifts from the universe is my very own cat with a passport and everything from the Alcabasa camera. Bon dia, Gumpers. Y feliz quinta. Dentist this morning. Wish you luck. Boa sorte, amigo, with the dentist there. Good morning, coach. When I feel like exercising, this is T-Duck's God Squad tip of the day. I just lie down until the feeling goes away. A nice one, T-Duck, and dad jokes, of course, from you a little bit later on. God Squad tip of the day then. Posture is important when walking. That's why I'm on a stool here. God Squad tip of the day then. Posture is important when walking. Try to be as tall as possible. It's that invisible thread thing, isn't it? I remember doing this in yoga. Yoga really changed me when I did it, 30 years ago, I think it must have been. Yeah, first yoga class 30 years ago. And it was a gateway, not a gateway drug exactly, but a gateway experience into a whole other side of life. Think Windsor Davis. Fine better shoulders, lovely boy. It's a Brit thing, yes. Shoulders back, backside forwards. What? Yeah, I see what you mean there. Thrust out your pelvis. But yeah, I mean, have a quick look around first before you do that in any sort of energetic way, should we put it like that this morning. So yes, that's why I'm sat on this stool. I think this has been doing something to me. I've been sat now in like a performer's stool or a bar stool, a breakfast bar stool doing the show now, instead of a very comfortable upholstered office chair. And I think it's made a difference. It's really made a difference, but I can tend to slump like that. So you're absolutely right. And when you do it, when you make the effort to straighten your spine, you do feel something, don't you? And going back to my yoga class many years ago, the yoga teacher suggested you imagine a golden thread at the top of your head, just lengthening your spine and connecting you to the cosmos. Or she wasn't American. She was from Yorkshire, actually. She probably said, now connect to golden thread to cosmos. And then with each step, try to push off from the ball of your foot. This way, you'll walk your ankle or work your ankle and calf more. Gradually, your strength will increase and you'll be able to walk faster. I've been doing this. The other thing that's been going on for me in this department, Coach Turner, is that I've got these barefoot style shoes. Got myself some nice shoes just recently. They weren't at all expensive, from Germany, made in China, a German marketing company, made in China, sent directly from China, in a very neat little bundle, actually, because they're so soft and so light. And they're a nature form shape, so they look like Cornish pasties, the sort that hippies wear, in modern materials, and a very thin sole, a barefoot style sole, which puts me in touch with the ground. Now you'd think to yourself, maybe, oh, that sounds really uncomfortable, feeling every bit of gravel as you put your foot down, especially on a country lane when I'm walking the dogs in the morning. And it's true, but it's connected me mindfully to what's going on beneath my feet. And it's changed. I think it's changed my walking posture, if that's not a contradiction in terms. So I know, people are quite divided on this, as with so many things in life these days. And, people do. I think, T-Duck, you like the old marshmallow shoe, don't you? That's very comfortable. And, a lot of people can't wear thin-soled shoes because it's too painful or difficult. But I'm enjoying this, and I think it's changed things. It's made me more mindful as a walker. And I think essentially that's what you're talking about here, isn't it, Coach Turner, is to be in your body, feel the spine straighten, and feel the ball of your foot as it goes down each time. So as well as doing the intermittent fartlecky business of bursting into a run, why not, if I may add to this, Coach Turner, why not slow down a bit as well and feel your foot as it comes down to the ground each time? Not for the rest of the day. That would be quite a tall order, especially if you've got a nice straight spine. But I think this is quite an important thing to be mindful of walking. So much so sometimes, if you think about walking, sometimes you can't walk properly. It's that interesting to me anyway. Bon dia alegria then from T-Duck at 8:18 this morning. And the deep thought this morning from T-Duck, well, from Abigail Van Buren via T-Duck. The less you talk, the more you'll listen to. That's a bit difficult for me right here, right now. But I get your point, Abigail and T-Duck. Dear Abby had a readership estimated at 110 million in 2016. Didn't realize it was that recent, actually. But isn't that amazing? Does anyone have a readership of that kind these days? I wonder. If you're syndicated in the United States, I guess you stand a better chance. And that's why everybody wants to be big in America, right? And yeah, that's the right, T-Duck. Have we got an actual time for that? For the pagans in the audience who want to acknowledge the fact that the sun will stand still for a moment and then make its trajectory in the other direction in relation to us, if that's what's going on. You can tell I don't have a clue what's going on with that, but I get the sense of it mythologically and cosmically, that the sun will be reborn. That's the important thing to me. That's what we're celebrating, isn't it? The return of the sun, however you spell it at this time of year. Then bon dia from Joao, and James is here. I was worried about you, James, wise man of the Gumpacalypse, here at 8:38. Bon dia, Gumpas. Feliz quinta a todos. Tudo bem? And a truly bad dad joke warning. So let's do this, shall we, to make sure nobody is hurt, or we'll be suing the program for a really bad dad joke. Anyway, all correspondence, anyone who's offended, hurt, or troubled by this dad joke should address all correspondence to James, friend of Slug, care of the Good Morning Portugal show.
Warning.
Oh, yes. Truly bad holiday dad joke warning then. Why is it getting harder to buy advent calendars? Because their days are numbered. Hey, didn't we do that before? Now, didn't I also save a wrong? Oh, yes. Talking of advent calendars, I've got something else for you this morning. This starts out as a deep thought and ends as a visual dad joke. Here you go. As one door opens, as one door closes, I beg your pardon. As one door closes, another opens. As one door closes, another opens. And as one door closes, another opens. It's your deep thought for the day, or it's me eating through a chocolate advent calendar. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen, for all you've done for the show this morning so far. Let's carry on and see what else you've got for us. And anybody else who wants to contribute anything, if you're thinking to yourself, those jokes are truly awful, then you do better. 913-590-303, or just pop them into the chat this morning. We are awaiting the arrival of Veronica, the American in the Algarve, and Carl Hyde joining us at 9:30 this morning. Ooh, did I send them the link? I think I did. Let me just make sure I did. Lovely pictures from, better save those as well. Some lovely pictures from Veronica. I'm saving those. I'm making sure, by the way, that I am, or that they've got the link to join us. Okay. Forgive me. Should have done this before the show, Carl Munson. Okay. Let's get back to your comments then that are coming in. Yes, 913-590-303. Even if you don't make the cut on the Advent video windows of our Light Up Christmas homepage, it's fine. You can send them in. I'll just pop them on the screen maybe tomorrow for our last live stream show of the day. 913-590-303. Oh, and I've got a new mug to show you. Saw Siobhan yesterday after the show, and we had a lovely bit of feedback. I think Owen's going to be getting some aprons. So if you want to have a food alchemy apron, Owen, are you making those available to other people as well? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? If other people can imagine themselves as skilled as you are in the kitchen with a food alchemy apron on, maybe they'll be available to others as well as you for your corporate branding in the kitchen. Yeah, I've got the new Love Portugal mug. Picked that up from Siobhan. And we had a lovely comment who said, I think they really enjoyed listening to Raquel and Siobhan yesterday. And they are coming to, I think they're Canadian, they're coming to Portugal, and they wanted a small business coach. I'm just trying to find the comment for you now that came into the mailbag over at YouTube. You get, excuse me, you do get some strange comments over at YouTube. They do upset Mrs. M when they troll her over there, but you got to take YouTube with a pinch of salt. I mean, people just feel it's like fair game to say anything they blooming want. Veronica, I'm sure, can attest to that when she joins us at 9. The comments, the comment that came in yesterday then, oh, there's lots here. Oh, and thank you very much from Pedder in Wales, Natali Llachwen Pawb. I think that's Happy Christmas in Welsh. I'm just having a quick look at what's going on over here. Sarah loved the music from Bob's Christmas album that we played. I think that was last week, wasn't it? Nubianette loved Dougie Hughes's video from Wales. Mama Lama with a bon dia. Should go over here more often, actually. Carl, excellent discussions today. So this was referring to yesterday's conversation with Siobhan and Raquel. I've been hoping to find a small business coach in the Expats Portugal network, and today is my day. Fantastic. So that's a perfect timing for the Americanadian 2011 over on YouTube. You're very welcome. Now, talking of Expats Portugal, we'll come back to wherever we were just now, which I have forgotten. The Love Portugal mug. We'll come back to that in just a moment, because tonight at 7:30 is the Expats Portugal Christmas party. Join us online for the Christmas party at 7:30 this evening. Let me just take that comment out of the way there. Yes, via Zoom, join from anywhere in the world. And if you want to sign up for that, get the link. You can do that for tonight's Christmas party, where we'll be having a quiz and sharing a bit of festive cheer and some videos that Jackie was talking about yesterday, of course. Sign up for that at expatsportugal.com. I can give you a link on the screen for that. Let me just see if I can pop that into the chat as well in case you need it. If you want to join us for a bit of fun this evening, if hanging out this morning is not enough for you, come join us again tonight at 7:30 over on the Expats Portugal. I think I haven't found out yet if we're going to be streaming that via the YouTube channel, but I don't see why not. Certainly parts of it, especially the quiz, I think should be streamed live. So that's what I shall petition for this evening. We'll have an unveiling after we've looked at all your comments. We'll have an unveiling of the latest mug with the Love Portugal logo on it. Thank you, Joao Denort, for your comment, which we'll get to in just a moment. And mindful moment then. Let's take a breath for a moment. And the mindful moment then for today. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. I need to read that again from Araya Mountain Dreamer. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. A bit of transcendent joy there that comes without any kind of caveat or small print. Very good. Thank you for that. Probably better translated as winter is in my head or on my mind. Prepositions can be some of the hardest things to learn in English. Yeah, it does sound odd, but it also conveys, I thought, John, winter on my head conveys the sense of the pressure of the cold, does it not, as well? And the pain of it sometimes as well. It's all relative, isn't it? And it's not really that cold here, although I have been feeling cold, I have to say. I'm acclimatized, I think, in the Portuguese way, because it's actually 11 degrees now, 16 in the studio, slightly chilly. We've got, I've got a glazed window, French door situation here out into the garden. So that is causing nearly 16 in the studio and just over 11 degrees C out there. Oh, so double it and add 30, 22, 52 for you Americans currently in this Silver Coast garden of mine, slightly sheltered as it is, and the winter solstice, that moment then when we can feel like the darkest days are behind us for this year. That'll be Friday, tomorrow, December 22nd. So it'll have happened by the time we're all here to go together tomorrow morning. Friday, December 22nd at 3:27 a.m. And that'll be Western European time. Thank you very much for the WET time check there, or time zone check. 3:27, the winter solstice tomorrow. Rugby Cola is here. Dad joke. Alexa, I said order baby cheeses. We've already done that one. But that's the thing with dad jokes, isn't it? Is that they should be recycled and enjoyed over and over and over again. Okay, let's have a look at this new mug then that's come through. Great job, Siobhan. Thank you very much indeed. What have we got? We have got, look, there's the her own label sticker. We need to get some stickers, don't we? Some Good Morning Portugal stickers, maybe with this Love Portugal logo on. Then if I unbox, as I'm going to do now, look at this. The Love Portugal mug, not even on sale yet, but freshly picked up. It's just like the logo there, freshly picked up from the from our printers, our printing partners. That's Siobhan at CO Print. Oh, and you wanted the email address for anyone else who wants this. Let me just pop it into the chat now. It's SIO Print, and that you need Portugal as well. So SIO Print Portugal at gmail.com. Hold on, I need the at. Yes, gmail.com. Hold on a minute. Gmail. Do you know, one thing I think of from time to time is learning how to touch type, and what a bonus that would be in my life if I ever got round to doing that. There it is. Took a long time, but it's there for you now. coprintportugal at gmail.com. That's for you, Owen, so that you can get in touch with Siobhan and Patricia there. Veronica's backdrop's looking very good. She'll be with us in a little while. I know what we'll do. Well, waiting to join her at 9 and Carl Hyde at 9:30. Let's take a look at the front pages to see if there's anything festive over at the Portugal News or the Portugal Resident. We'll start with the Resident. I have filed my story, my article, my piece, my column for next week, which is all about this summer of love that I'm talking about for Portugal. That moment after the spring of celebration, what happens on the 26th of April? Has anybody thought about that? And I think that's a really nice window of opportunity for us to evoke the spirits of the summer of love of 1967 in the United States and have it flowing freely here in Portugal and from this part of Europe. Thanks and good morning. Well, not at all, Cio de Quinta. That's Siobhan right there joining us this morning. Great job. Thank you very much for that. Did you notice how I sent Mrs. M in yesterday? Because I thought if I come and get these myself, Siobhan, we'll start chatting. And it was Mrs. M's birthday yesterday and we were heading off somewhere. I think you lot ended up chatting instead. It just reminded me of being a child and sat in the car waiting for my dad mainly to have conversations with people. Anyone else have that memory? In my day, I used to have to sit outside phone boxes while my dad was making phone calls as well. Got very familiar with the interior of our family car. Right, let's go have a look at the Portugal Resident before we say hi to Veronica this morning. We started with the Portugal News the other day. We didn't get around to the Resident. So let's see what the Resident have to say for themselves this morning. Immigration or bust, a sobering report at this festive time of year. What's all this about then? Let's find out. Is this a Natasha Don piece, I wonder? I want to find out what this is saying. Immigration or bust, a sobering report. And this is by Natasha. Yeah, came out yesterday. Oh, this was the International Migrants Day. So a continuation from the 18th. International Migrants Day this week saw the release of a sobering report which showed how much Portugal has benefited from the, what's sobering about the benefits of increasing arrival of work-age foreign nationals? This is the sobering bit. But also what this boon to the country is costing in terms of human suffering on various levels. We'll file that into our Portugal Immigrant Network section of GMP VIP. I'll make sure there's a connection to that if you want to read more about it, which tells you more about the incoming nationalities. And the fact that 2022 saw the highest ever number of immigrant foreigners settle in Portugal. So it's very important at this Portugal Immigrant Network work is very important that we connect not only with the country as foreigners, but I think with the other groups as well. How many Italians do you know? There's quite a lot of Italians you know in Portugal. How many of them do you know here in Portugal? How many people from Ukraine do you know? How many Brazilians do you know? The birds of a feather tend to flock together. And I really, personally, I don't know many people from the other countries who are moving to Portugal. And I'm going to make it my business to do so in the new year. What else have they got over there at the Portugal Resident? I shall tell you. Oh, dear. Oh dear. Here we go. Portuguese after all those oh dears, I shall keep away from you this morning as we make our way to Christmas and attempt to lighten up a bit rather than pee on anyone's chips this time of the morning. Portuguese citizens have the most positive outlook of the EU in the bloc. Now, is that the most positive outlook on life or of the EU itself? Let's find out. This is another Natasha Don piece published yesterday. Portuguese are also the proudest to be European. Well, isn't that interesting that I should find myself a post-Brexit Brit here among the proudest to be European? Portugal is the country with the most positive view of the European Union. Okay, so not in life itself, among the 27 that belong to the community bloc, according to a Eurobarometer by the European Commission released today. According to the Eurobarometer, 64%, beg your pardon, don't know why I read that at 67, but 64% of the Portuguese citizens surveyed. Now, they don't, I'm going to read through this to find out how many people they asked. Oh, okay, that it does tell you, because, sometimes if they ask 10 Portuguese people, 6 of them said they liked being part of the EU. That would, of course, be 60%, wouldn't it? But they actually asked, I'm scrolling down, this inquiry was carried out, it says here, among over 1,000 Portuguese people, 1,031. And I remain in that group of people, probably the largest group of people, the 80, not the 20, who never seems to get asked questions of this kind. But somebody must be, including among them the 64% of the Portuguese citizens surveyed who had a positive view of the EU and its institutions, namely the EC, two kinds of ECs. There's the European Commission, the European Council, the European Parliament, and the Council of the EU. What do they all do? And only 7% have a negative view. This is the highest percentage among the 27 countries that make up the political economic bloc. The Portuguese are also the most proud of being European citizens. Proud of being part of the European continent or proud of being part of the EU project? I wonder. And 75% reject the idea that the country would be better off outside the EU for obvious reasons. For nationals, the EU's economic power is the bloc's main strength, 37% above the EU average of 23%. Nonetheless, Portugal's outlook for the future of the EU has dropped compared to the last Eurobarometer on the subject released in the summer. Portugal is, in fact, the country with the largest fall in confidence about the future of the bloc. That's interesting, isn't it, despite what has already been said about this. And this sentiment can be explained, according to the Eurobarometer, by the Portuguese's more pessimistic attitude towards the national economy. As the Commission noted, the Portuguese citizens are substantially more pessimistic about the economy's resistance to geopolitical shocks of the moment. Well, that makes sense too, doesn't it? 4 out of 5 Portuguese respondents consider the country's situation to be bad or very bad, i.e. around 80%, a figure substantially higher than the 57% recorded in the last statistical assessment. Oh, this tallies. This is now going over to the other side of the metaphorically of my assessment of the news from hey to a oh no. I wonder if there's anything else I could read in this next minute that will be truly cheerful this morning that I can share with you. Let's have a look, see what else. If only the headlines I'm sharing with you, that may well be enough this morning. Lagoa approves the largest budget ever for 2024. Oh, this is nice for those of us who are tree huggers here. The centuries-old Salbrush tree, last bit of news before we talk to Veronica in just a moment. The centuries-old Salbrush tree is in the running for Tree of the Year. Who knew? Did you know that there was a Tree of the Year competition? We had our OnlyFans calendar yesterday, didn't we? And I was going to tell you about the other one my father-in-law sent me, but no, that was hilarious. I thought the OnlyFans video yesterday. Is there a similar calendar of the top trees of the year? 12 trees from around the world. I certainly hope so. A centuries-old oak tree, the Quercus rotundifolia, located in Salbrush de Al Portel, is in the running for the title of Tree of the Year 24. Where can we vote for this? Yes, we can. I'm going to give you the link for doing this if you want to vote for a Portuguese tree in the Tree of the Year 2024 awards. We could get behind this, couldn't we? And still not be seen. The tree, believed to be around 250 years old, finished second in the voting last year, So runner-up of 22, and is now looking to take the top spot. Voting is open online until midnight on January the 5th. The winner will be announced on January the 10th. I actually want to find out more about this, but we can't right now. I will put the link in. It's Portugal.tree of the year. Shelley, good morning. Lovely to see you here. The link. Yes, there is. And the tree here in Salbrush is gorgeous. So you actually know it. You've touched that tree by the sound of it. So let's get behind Shelley's tree. Play hide and seek, as it were. Go to portugal.treeoftheyear.eu/vote. And should we... Oh, Shelley's going to send us a picture as well. Should we get behind this tree? I think one day, literally, physically, and certainly between now and that moment when we have a Gumper picture opportunity next to this tree in Salbrush del Portel, we could vote for it online and make it Tree of the Year. Haha, I gained a tree. Yes, Shelley's tree. Will forever be known as Shelley's tree. Good morning to you, Shelley. Thanks for being here this morning and sending us a message. Lovely to hear from you. Right, let's give her a nice big round of applause. She has a slightly different setting this morning. It's Veronica! Hola, bon dia.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, and yourself, contigo?
I'm a little tired, I have to be honest. I'm still on California time, so I was up till 4 in the morning, trying so hard to sleep.
Seriously,
then,
is your body clock is still wired for California, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
They say it's 15 minutes, like, per week or something, per day, or I don't know. It's some crazy amount of time. So by the time I get all settled back in, I'll be in Thailand.
Oh, really? Okay, so you don't really want to get back into this time zone just yet?
Well, it's 8 hours ahead, so I'm going the wrong way. So I'll be waking up at 8 in the evening there.
So you're gaining or losing a day? What's going to be happening? But that sounds nice. Are you going to Thailand for Christmas itself?
No. We're going to go do a little bit of a road trip through, backpacking too, which is, I'm like a luxury traveler, so we'll see how this rolls. We'll be going through Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And a big shout out to Jackie and Jim. It's their son's wedding that we're going to in Vietnam. Who married an adorable Irish couple, an Irish son that are so lovely in our town. In fact, this is where we meet all the time in one of our favorite cafes, looking at the marina and the whole promenade of Villarreal de Santo Antonio. So getting prepared for that, flying home from one event and off to the next. But I will join you live from Thailand and
seriously for next month.
Yeah. Well, that'll be January and February. I'm going January, February, March.
My goodness. Okay. Well, how exciting.
January, February episodes.
How was it being in California?
It was so much fun. So much fun. And I love seeing all my family. I love seeing all my friends. I love being back kind of in the home spot. But I have to say, it really reminds me why I love Portugal so much. Like the land of I'm sorry, California people, but it is the land of strip malls and housing developments. Like you have to drive everywhere. We don't have the cute little pub towns like you do. There is no city square anywhere. It just doesn't exist. You have to get in your car because it's blocks and blocks and blocks of just, driveways and lawns and gardens. You drive straight into your house, into your garage, which enters into your, house through a door. And the socialization, I just can't wait to when I get back here. Because, you have all your friends and groups and you can just say, hey, meet me at this cafe, or who's just hanging out today. Let's meet up. And everybody walks. And I think that's the big special thing from California and especially the West Coast. Because I think Boston and a few places you have some, towns centered around a square. But by the time they settled the West, it was a big deal to have housing developments with huge lawns and be kind of away from the city.
Yeah, right. No, it's a very clear phenomenological, sociological thing, wasn't it? I mean, America invented those kind of suburbs, basically, didn't it? With the advent of the motor car.
And it was the car, and after the war, it just became a little bit more mobile to just drive around, have your own space.
Now, this is interesting because that's where you grew up, right? So that is the lifestyle of you as a child, a youth, and as an adult. and you've become acclimatized to a different way of being by the sound of it. And in a relatively short time here in Portugal, you're favoring that to on foot pedestrian way of life, where you can meet in the Praça, the town square, rather than have to drive everywhere, it sounds like.
Well, and it's just, I think part of it is also being retired. So we have a really big network here and we can just text, hey, is anyone doing anything? Or, hey, I'm heading to Marina Bar. Or you don't even need to text. You sit in the city square and all your friends wander by.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And
Yeah.
eventually people end up complaining about that. You can't go anywhere here without stopping and having to talk to everybody. I'm going out for a pint of milk. 5 hours later, I'm still chatting to people in the street. So,
I think that's one of the beautiful things and the reason why the Portuguese have this fun, and I'm going to say fun thing about saying that they're late, because they stop to talk, versus I have to say it's rush, 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 business, business, business back in the States, get to work, get on the highway, wait in traffic. Oh my goodness, the traffic gets worse every time I go back.
Is it? I mean, I remember sitting in on your big freeway of six lanes of traffic on each side when I was in Los Angeles. This would have been over 20 years ago, I think, and it was terrible then, and it had already been terrible for quite a long time. They still haven't figured it out by the sound of it.
No, what it is what they're doing is it's getting worse and worse. So even as they add what was once 2 lanes of the highway or freeway, going into 3, going to 4, going to 5, going to 6. And I took one picture where it was 6 on one side, 6 on the other. They're just building, and it's still congested, where kind of at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning or in the middle of the day, you could get from Los Angeles to South County of Orange County or San Diego. And now it's just gridlock all the time. What used to take me a 3-hour drive up the coast to San Luis Obispo, one of the towns I lived in and visited, that took 3 hours, took 6 hours.
Did it really? My goodness. Okay.
It was so painful. And you just want to go, I'm like, there's no reason for gun violence, but I see how these people that happen to have guns in their cars just go crazy.
There is a movie from a long time ago with Michael Douglas. Is it Falling Down? Where he loses it, doesn't he? He's actually sat in a traffic jam and his sweat beads are, on his forehead, and he loses it and leaves his car, gets out of his vehicle and goes walkabout on a rampage of completely powered by suppressed rage. Actually, quite a lot of it isn't suppressed by the end of the movie, but yes, it is understandable, isn't it? And I had a similar reaction. Part of my origin story for being here in Portugal, I think, started a long time ago on our M25 in the United Kingdom. So that's our road where you get these traffic jams, and where a 3-hour journey might turn into 6 or 12, even sometimes at the worst of circumstances, with people camping on these motorways when they get blocked up, stuck in their car. And I think I was traveling from the south to the north of the country, having delivered some training or something in the county of Essex, the good county of Essex, making my way home on the M25. Everything grinds to a halt. And Matt Monro, his version of Born Free comes on the radio. So there's the irony.
I want to break free.
No, Born Free.
I'm doing the wrong one. I want to break free. That's just to me. I just want to.
It could have been either. Freddie could have done it to me as well. But Matt Monro singing Born Free to me just pushed. I started weeping in the car, Veronica, about there I am, modern man trapped in his metal capsule on the motorway. Whilst I think the song refers to the story of some lions in Africa, and there I was, a far cry from being a wild beast on the plains. There I was, stuck in my car, and it began my mission to escape from that sort of lifestyle. I'm sure it was certainly a key part of it. Anyway, you're back now here in Portugal for a brief window then of festive relaxation and recreation, and off to the Far East. That sounds like an amazing trip. Is it the first time you're heading over to the Far East?
No, I've been there before. We went to a friend's wedding in Thailand. So this will be actually interesting. It was island of Koh Samui, which the British all know about.
Oh,
I didn't know about. But my husband, before he passed away, we have some good British friends that were like family to him. His adopted parents from an old band event that he went to, and you know how they host children in their homes.
All right.
Because the whole band can't, pay, for all the hotel rooms. And they became great friends. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Jane. It was their wedding. And so we flew out to Thailand for their wedding. And, they had the full traditional wedding with the monks and
Mm.
throwing water at them and tying their wrists and the little head things. It was really cool. So I'm looking forward to this Vietnamese one as well, because that's, at this age, it's not just traveling, it's integrating and getting to know people who live there and their culture and their lifestyle. And it's just super exciting to be there. The gal that our Irish friend's son is marrying the town's doctor. So the mom is the town doctor, and it's a smaller town. So it's going to be a really big deal and everyone will be there. So it's to be really, get invited to a local's wedding is, I think, a real, and that's from here. That's from, the American and Portugal YouTube site, from people in, they're just outside of Dublin, having seen the show and saying, hey, that may be a place we like to live, and reaching out and then just integrating. And they're the most happy, fun. Okay, no, not the only happy fun, but they are the most happy fun out of everyone. We all love the Irish, right? Who doesn't love it?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's just something about Irish genes that lend themselves so well to partying. And
it's partying, it's kindness, it's community, it's friendship. Like, they're just, 3 of my closest friends here are Irish, they're all across the Algarve. Like, I drive to see them. They're amazing.
Well, Jerry said this, Jerry Lawler over at Expats Portugal. It's like, Portugal is a lot like Ireland, but without the rain, with sun, effectively. It's a great hybrid. And I noticed more Irish accents in the Algarve when I was there than anywhere else I've been in Portugal. I think a lot of Irish people have settled in the Algarve, haven't they? And what a lovely combination, the Portuguese sense of fun and the Irish sense of fun coming together. A recipe.
British, because this is your sunshine. This is your sunshine. It is sunny today. What is it like up there? It's literally, I'm looking
we're up to 11 degrees already, and a bit of cloud in the sky, but it's looking like a nice bright one, and it'll warm up. I don't know if you saw this earlier on this week, but this is the sort of the weather report of this time of year. Is this sort of thing going on, isn't it? So it feels like that at 7. And then by about 2:30. I mean, that's a true story, isn't it? What you're seeing on the screen right there. But that's what it's like at the moment. And of course, we were talking earlier on, Veronica, about it being the solstice tomorrow morning, early doors at 3:30 in the morning, and the days are going to get longer again. So with the worst will be behind us this time tomorrow, which is fantastic. So we can, after a couple of comments that I'd like to read out on the screen this morning, going back to some of the other things that have been said, let's have a look at how things are shaping up festively in VRSA. Manuel Ferreira is with us this morning. Sou português e não faço parte dessa maioria. Gustavo de ter Nigel Farage português, or a Nigel Farage. Very interesting comment, that, Manuel. And I would like to talk to you about that, actually, if you're up for it. I'm Portuguese. I was talking about how in that, what was it, EU barometer or whatever, Portuguese people are apparently proud to be part of the EU bloc. Not Manuel here this morning. He's Portuguese, and he's not part of that majority, he says. And he would like a Portuguese Nigel Farage. What do you make of that, Pete, who's just joined us? Bon dia alegria. And Ireland is so expensive. Now that it makes Portugal very affordable, we have a few friends that have moved here from the Emerald Isle. That's an interesting trend then, isn't it? And it's true, isn't it? Ireland is very expensive, it has to be said. Antonio Barbosa is with us. Bon dia alegria. Feliz quinta-feira. Thank you for your recent contributions. Very good. At GMP VIP. Tony. Hashtag Tony Time. Hashtag Man in the Mina. Great to have you here. Smash that like button. Reminder from T-Duck and Top Secret. Is Top Secret? Top Secret. Get it?
I know him. It's the top secret. Remember, we figured that out forever ago.
We did. Yes.
Town, but it's top secret. We can't say who it is, Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Right. Okay. Should we play your video now and get into a bit of festive fun in VRSA, and then have a look at
and the end was a little long, so you can clip it off when I start talking about the oranges. I didn't realize that I had oranges on there.
I wouldn't.
I was texting at 2 in the morning.
It's only 50 seconds long. Let's have a look now, and then we'll have a look at stills as well. We'll be right back after this.
Santa's in there. There's Santa Claus in there. Santa's in his house. And there's the church, city square, the stage and rides, and our city hall. Oh, and oranges in December. and shopping. I did miss this a lot. I went home for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, but I miss our sweet. So the months of oranges in California are probably the same. I think it's the same worldwide.
Yeah, because you said oranges on December.
Yeah, but I think yeah, it's a worldwide thing. They harvest a couple times a year. Yeah.
Who was that gentleman then, Veronica, wanting to quiz you about oranges in December?
One of my many friends. I have a
Okay.
whole group here in Portugal, and we just kind of whoever is around, and we go hang out and have a good time. And that's
love
German Jim.
I thought it might be. I suspected that gentleman might be German from his accent.
We have
there.
3 or 4 Jims and 5 or 6 Bobs. It's kind of like adds to the like everybody's name is Joao or Anna or Luis here. It
got Jims
seems like
and
the
Bobs as
extra.
well. Jim Bobs. Jim Bobs. It sounds like it sounds
Hi,
to me like,
Bob and Bobby.
but it sounds like having lots of uncles, doesn't it? My Uncle Jim and I actually have got, or I did have.
Jimmy.
My dad's brothers are Jim and Bob, which is amazing, isn't it? It's very reassuring to me to have Jims and Bobs in the world. Okay, let's have a look at some of your stills. Talk us through these then, if you will.
Am I allowed to talk over the pictures? Okay, so that's some of the shopping areas. And I try to get it. Everybody says, why don't your pictures have people in them? Because you're really, Portugal's really good about privacy, which is amazing in today's world. So you're really not supposed to have people or kids in your photo. You're supposed to get permission to shoot with anyone over 6. So I do try to get it as they're just opening or closing, or in the times where people are home.
Very thoughtful. How did you discover that? Hold on a minute there, Veronica. How did you discover that? Did you discover that by falling foul of that in a situation?
No, I just try to Google it wherever I go. I was an old journalist. That was my degree back in the day. And in California and US law, they pretty much say if you're in public, you're fair game. And so I was reading privacy, and privacy is one of the reasons to come here, right? Mr. Eye in the Sky, where they're watching everywhere you go. And the minute you go into Spain, you realize there's cameras everywhere. There's speed cameras. And you come back here and they have the respect for privacy again, right? You say privacy?
Yeah, privacy.
Privacy. It's privacy from America. So here's some of the shopping areas, the little boutique in our square. You know, there's holiday markets everywhere. Our town's about 10, 20,000, depending on who's in for, the day. And so ours is a smaller square, but the lights and these are some of the things you can buy, some of the fun shopping.
Oh, yes. Look. Okay.
New contest this year in town. Everybody decorates one of these boards and there'll be awards.
Okay, it's great big gingerbread man by the look of it. Are they all gingerbread men or gingerbread people, I should say?
However you want to decorate them. That one could be either, right? It could be a hairless woman or a hairless man or none of the above. The other.
You're so right. Oh, where have we gone now? Where are we taking a break from the shopping?
That was when I walked back into my house. This is my house and the views I see. And that's where I'm literally looking out. I miss that, living in a housing development where you have wall and front lawn.
Yes, what a lovely corner aspect that is. Very good. Okay, back out onto the street now. Did you sit on Santa's knee and did he ask you if you've been good this year?
I really tried and they said it was closed. I didn't know if they said, oh my gosh, you'll break his lap. You raft. I'm almost 6 foot tall, right?
Keep trying. Okay. Sorry, we're closed.
Don't let her in. They were just opening, but yeah.
That's wrong with you, Santa. Okay. A couple of soldiers here, festive soldiers, and the Aldea of Father Christmas's little village there, of course, and the red carpet. It looks fantastic, and I love that you took it at a different time of day so as not to avoid people's privacy. I never think of that. Well, I do think of it, but I don't often do very much about it. And it is part of the age we're living in, isn't it? It was where people are milling around and so many cameras are out and people are being photographed all the blooming time. So there we go. That's a little bit later on, isn't it, in the evening? By the
And again, in those times where people are having dinner, and sometimes people do, this is a real town, real people live in it. We only have 3 hotels. So people kind of go, during a lunchtime, nobody's here. And they'll come in and they think the town's deserted. People are eating with their family. So you find, you know, or they're
Yes.
eating, yeah. Mhm.
It's very
Or they're
much, yeah. That's a thing to. But you make a very good point there because when people are scouting, they might rock up in a central Portuguese village, thinking, "What happened here?" A certain time of day, people aren't out and about, are they? They'll be home. They'll be home having
Yes,
lunch, or they'll be home between work and going out in the evening. And
yes.
you know, population density isn't as severe, intense, great as it is in some of the countries we've come from, and
Oh, yes,
it can seem not just quiet but absolutely deserted at times, can't it? In
yes,
certain parts of the country. So
yes.
bear that in mind when you're traveling around. It might just be the time of day, and it might not always be like that. Let's go back to
But
Veronica.
that's also the beauty of it, right?
Of course it
You know,
is. Of course
you
it
can
is.
go during these times and just enjoy and have a silent walk. And, you know, coming again from, you know, the greater LA metropolis, you can never go anywhere like this and not have it wall to wall people and being lined
Mm.
up for an ice cream or lined up.
That's true.
It's
True. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
So
mhm.
true. This is a
This
good
town
shop.
would be packed if it were in LA. Everybody would come here all day, every day, because it's so unique and special in California. And it's why to me, it's every time I go into it, you know, I've been here, I'm going on 6 years now, and I come home to my town and it's still such a joy. I'm like, oh, I love my town. And I didn't
Mm.
have to drive an hour away to a Christmas village or holiday village. It's my town. And there's one, you know, 10 minutes away, and another one 10 minutes away, and another one 15 minutes away, and a castle.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How
Custom room.
wonderful. And that so that little bit of contrast has had you fall deeper in love with your town. That's wonderful.
I did.
Actually, before we talk about that last picture, that stall there, there's a lot of festive warmth going on there. Are these
Yes.
gloves and willy warmers and all this sort of stuff going on here? What's happening there?
Yes. I don't know about a willy warmer, but it's
But it
you
just
might have to
looks like
explain that one to me. But
no,
socks
not
and
right now.
gloves.
Socks, socks and gloves. Okay,
Socks.
it's
But we would
British
say
thing.
that in America would be like when we don't say bum bag, right? We have to say it the
Yeah,
right way.
right. Yeah,
Or
it just looks to me like you could conceivably keep every part of your body warm by going to this shop, and lots of festive gift
yeah.
ideas there, and a lovely
And
final image there of you. Is there somebody inside that, or is that a big teddy?
no, he's a big teddy. We love
Right.
the Grand House here. The
Yeah.
Grand Hotel and the Grand House Cafe are kind of the super elegant. They'll be behind me when you shoot back to this screen. But the
Okay.
big elegant hotel, it was the first that one
Oh
there.
yes, there it is. Yeah.
That was the
Well, that
first one in
well, you know
that
that
was
that hotel was built by the guy who built the Storytellers in San Martino de Porto. Did you? Are you? That's the first hotel built in VRSA, is it? Yeah,
it
it's
was
the
the
same
first one built
architect.
in the Algarve. It was the first one in the
Okay.
Algarve.
Right.
And um, it was empty when I first came here,
I
and
see
the
it.
mayor Conceição did a lot of projects, and this is one of the projects revitalizing that. And now it's one of the small luxury hotels of the world. It's expensive, but it's beautiful. You know, it looks at the marina. It's one of those use your hotel points, or if you're, you know, lucky enough to have oodles and oodles of money, this is a lovely place to stay. You know, inside it, they've got the craft cocktail bar, the guy who can do everything, you know, lights everything on fire and
Oh wow.
does beautiful things. And then they've just opened right here because they didn't have just a public coffee house. They opened one just a block down right
Uh-huh.
there. And so that
Okay.
was in front of that. And that's how they market. So they have a high tea and they have a big bear sitting with a high tea in the front. And then that was in front of the coffee shop. I
Very
love
good.
them.
Yeah,
They're friendly,
absolutely
they're
lovely.
kind. I love to go there.
This is a very thoughtful backdrop behind you. So this is a cafe, presumably,
Yes.
that it would appear you're sat in. That somebody might bring you a coffee in at any moment. But that is a beautiful view of
Correct.
of the marina right there, isn't it? Superb. And I think it is the same architect behind the Storytellers here, and he also did some of the work on Leiria Castle as well. Pete has responded to Manuel this morning. That is, I don't want total chaos. And officially, the Bank of England, according to the Bank of England, Farage cost every person in the UK €2,000. The US doesn't want him, nor does the UK. He's like COVID. Pete, not a fan of Nigel Farage, it would appear. Oh no, those gingerbread people. And before, yeah, this
Hi,
is
Family
a
Slug.
comment on, yeah, Sly and the Family Slug here, James. Before 8 a.m., just a few grocery, bread and fish delivery vehicles, otherwise empty streets, and not deserted, not lonely, but just quiet for the time of day. Just wait a little bit, have a coffee or go home and come back out when everyone else comes out, and they will be busy and they'll be buzzing at certain times. It's a certain sort of thing to get used to. And you're quite right. You know, there are certain places here when you come to Portugal, you think, well, if this was in my country, it would be busy all the time. It would just be packed and heaving with tourists constantly. And thank goodness it isn't.
Yes.
Quite frankly. All right. We'll have Hyde.
So many of these villages. Well, unless you're in Lisbon, let's preface this. If you're in Lisbon, it's going to be packed. It's going to be packed all the time. Big city, think downtown LA, San Francisco, fun, vibrant, tons of activities and plays and concerts. And then you go to your little quiet village, or you are in the busy city and then you come visit the quiet village, depending which way you roll, baby.
Yeah, beautiful, fantastic. We've got some pictures of. I'm not sure what's going on in these pictures. I'm thinking of downloading them and sharing them with you, but I think I need to. I think I need.
Do you need to edit them? Do you need to tell the story while you go through them?
I think it's Christopher, and Carl Hyde in a sombrero at their at the agency's Christmas do. Or it's Las Vegas.
Was that in Texas? Didn't they go all the way to Texas? Did they both go, or was it just Christopher?
I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Heidi when he gets here. Okay. Heidi as in Hyde rather than Heidi, the little girl in Switzerland. If that's indeed where she was from. Heidi, that's a story from our childhood, isn't it, Heidi?
That was where my grandparents were from, in Germany, up in the mountains and the Alps and everything of Germany, right?
Different Heidi. Okay. He'll be with us
in the hills between Austria and Germany when I was a little kid visiting my grandparents.
Did you really? Okay.
Heidi.
So it's like a Sound of Music up there, was it, as well?
Sound of Music, absolutely. In fact, when I was in Salzburg, there was a big green hill and I did the twirl.
Did you?
And Cafe, was it Cafe Verli, one of the best cafes, totally hidden, overlooking the entire town of Salzburg. You go up a little hidden elevator and it's got the most amazing views. Just killer.
Sounds amazing. Okay.
This is how you watch Girl Show.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd be talking about that this morning, but I'm glad we are. And we can all imagine you twirling through the green pastures of that part of Europe in a Sound of Music style. We'll talk to Carl Hyde and you about when we've got you both on the screen, about your hopes and predictions for 2024, of course, coming into the new year. But from your point of view, have things calmed down for the festive period in the Algarve now? No, people aren't talking so much about property right now. They're just focusing on having a holiday.
I think I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown because the people that have gotten here have already gotten here. How do I even phrase that properly? Are they here?
Yeah, right.
Journalism major, I can't speak. And I would say there's not as many new inquiries. And I think it's going to maybe shift to the larger towns in the future. Next year, I have a new holiday message out there, but I think next year I'm going to focus more on other towns. I focus so much on mine that a lot of people are saying, okay, that's enough Americans here. So I'm going to be focusing more on Tavira, which is, just a short hop over, Faro, and some of the other areas of the Algarve that expats love, Ferragamo, Ferragado, Carvoeiro, and we'll see what those ones look like. I'm not going to do Golden Triangle, even though background here with Carl and Christopher, we were all on the same team together at Caldwell Banker Global Luxury. So that's how we know each other.
Yes.
Before I said, oh, wow, you need some pre stuff, and kind of created this. Let's talk to you about what's realistic, like what you can actually get in the Algarve and where you might want to live.
Your Christmas message was superb, and I would urge people to watch it. It came out as a newsletter. I think that's how I saw it. First of all, how can people see that? Because it's a lot of content in there that you share with your Christmas roundup. How can people get that if they haven't already seen it, Veronica?
They can just go to my Facebook page, American in Portugal, or they can go to YouTube, American in Portugal. I posted it on there because that's how you link easily, right? So you don't bog down your website or anything. you have all your videos up in YouTube, and then you link them to your newsletter or whatnot. So they're all hosted there. And that one I did put out for everyone to see. And yeah, it's a message of we're not going to go super negative, and we're seeing, like, you know, we joke about the clickbait and whatnot. You know, we thought about, let's do a negative Nelly one. And it's like, I just can't do that. I love it too much here.
Yeah.
To even put, someone told me when I went back home, oh, I'm seeing all these headlines that Portugal's, you know, bad, that it's not the it spot, that it's not. I'm like, well, it was never the it spot when I moved here. I moved here because the culture and the people. So I didn't move here because it was a trend. I moved here because I investigated Europe and living in Europe and where in Europe. And this was the closest to Southern California lifestyle.
Well said.
And safety and language, all those things we discuss.
Yeah. I mean, I like you. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it was quite funny when we were talking about all this clickbaity stuff. So much so that I made a meme. I hate.
You gonna show it? Yeah. Oh, great!
I hate Portugal being misrepresented with clickbait as a little asterisk there. And there does seem to be a micro trend going on of people. I don't know what, you know, I guess that's how it works. If you're manipulating a view for attention, that's inevitably what will happen, isn't it? You know, like last year it was all great and fantastic. So this year you've got to say, actually, we'll say it's not so great now. And that'll get a few more eyes on our video, perhaps.
So you have to go back to the goal, right? What is the goal? Is your goal to just get a whole bunch of clicks and like get all these sponsorships and views and make this channel a ton of money? Or is it to be honest and transparent and talk about how you really feel? So to put out all these headlines, and then, you know, with AI and everything else we discuss, it takes all these headlines, it puts them together and puts out this negative feel where it's really just clickbait. Because once you click on it, then they go, oh, well, Portugal is good. You know, here's why you shouldn't move here. And the people who shouldn't move here, you should already know this. You know, if you don't want to leave, if you've never traveled, if you're a jerk, if you don't like other cultures, like all those things, you're like, yes, please stay home. Yes, you're going to come and say, where's my, you know, whatever meal exactly like it is back home? But yeah, just stay home. That's
a great clickbait title for a video, though, Veronica, isn't it? People who should stay out of Portugal.
Let's do it together. Seriously, get all of us, like, because you've got the connection and you know all this stuff that I don't know how to do on the streaming, and get all of us on here and say who we think should stay home.
We'll have a massive build up to it as well. Okay. Couple of comments before we bring Carl Hyde on and find out why he was wearing a sombrero the other day. We've had Rui Correa join us as well. Thank you for your comments this morning. Portuguese gentlemen who've joined us. Rui says, don't worry, Portugal never leave the EU. 1, the country can't afford it. And 2, we Portuguese are too innocent and stupid, he says, to know the difference. People would fear the consequences. Interesting. Carl, your yodel reminded me, I didn't expect to be yodeling this morning, but I'm glad it reminded you of your recent trip to Little Oldie. And to Pete, Rui, they just have to look at the absolute disaster that the UK is to see what would happen. Look at those amazing trade deals with Japan and Australia and India that enrich Sunak and impoverish the population. The UK did the right thing, 100% democratic. UK is still paying a short, medium price. I would love to have this conversation in an appropriate context with you. So, Rui and Manuel, if you're up for that, I would love to hear the other side of this discussion in the right setting. UK is still paying a short, medium price, but let's look at Brexit again in 10, 15, 20 years. Until then, let's just keep calm and work in the real world. That's very British, keeping calm there, Rui. And Pete coming back, just like the Brexit voters, it is fairly safe to quote a date when you'll be dead. Gentlemen, we do need to take this conversation into the right setting, I think. I'm up for it. Look at how many of the last 5 PMs were elected really democratic. For people that don't like Portugal, there are planes and boats going out every day. Wow. Happy Christmas, everybody.
You have to say, why are you here? But generally, they're not. And I do find a lot of them do watch the channel. I'm going, what are you watching for? Like, what? You don't like to travel. You don't like Europe. You just want to stay home and think you're
confirm.
I
mean, yeah,
good for you.
You can use it as confirmation bias, can't you? Like, I just want to watch this video to make sure I definitely don't want to go there. Right, let's give them a nice.
There you go. Small, walkable town, friendly people, ocean, river, hiking.
There he is. Fellow
Hello.
victim of post-Brexit Britain, Carl Hyde, the Englishman. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm very well indeed. Yeah.
Excellent. It's kicking off in the comments, mate, about Brexit. It's a very emotive subject. Roy says, yes, and quite wisely here, very complex matter, but I'm up for it. Well, Carl at Good Morning Portugal, just WhatsApp me, Roy, 913-590-303. Seriously, I think it's a conversation that should be had in a calm and broad way, rather than the polar way that these things tend to get discussed. I'm sure we'll have a very interesting conversation when we do that. And Antonio F is here, who no doubt will have something to say on the matter as well. Good morning to you, Antonio. So how is it south of the river this morning, Carl? And why were you wearing a sombrero?
It's very nice south of the river this morning, actually. The sun is beaming through all sides of my house, which is very nice, because the past month or so I've had quite a bit of rain. It's adding to the, it feels a bit like the UK sometimes here in Portugal, weather-wise. But it's turned recently, so it's quite a warm winter's day. So that's very nice.
It is nice, yeah.
And why was I wearing a sombrero? Well, that was the work's Christmas do, and I promised myself I would behave. I would just have a few drinks, and I wouldn't stay out till too late. And of course, I failed on all counts.
Yes, I was going to say. I mean, what were you thinking, making promises of that kind? So, are these all for public consumption? There looks like a passport.
Put them out there.
Okay, there's a passport booth kind of thing going on, and then there's you doing what looks like a bit of karaoke as well. Those are the first ones I've got here, and I will play the video because that does look interesting. But I definitely.
It's not a video. It's like a zoom in on a picture. We had a guy there who does a lot of photography and promotion stuff for us. And that is just a little short clip zooming on a video type of thing. I don't know what I'm looking at in the background, but I'm curious about something clearly. There we go.
I wish I could. Look, when I press the button, you can see Carl is seeing something, like I don't know, a traffic warden or a fight breaking out on the horizon or something, whilst everyone else is right. So I'm going to press the button. Check out the look on his face here. Hold on, I gotta see that again. Here he is. Meanwhile,
they can't see it. You see,
they can't see it. He can. The last guy might be able to as well. And then there's the stills from the same event. They haven't managed to destroy the negatives. You really did. You had a fantastic time.
It was great, fantastic. Yeah, we had a great time. What this was, it's like I've only seen them before in like YouTube clips of Hollywood stars, not comparing to Hollywood star, but they sort of do a camera sort of zooms around you, goes all the way around you, and you do moves and dance moves and all this kind of stuff, strike poses. And so, yeah, we were all doing that all night. Now, when you're Brad Pitt, you can look pretty cool and pretty suave, but when you're this lump here, it's a very poor man's Brad Pitt kind of thing, but it was great fun. Great fun.
But after a couple of Superbox or Sagrashes, everyone thinks they're Brad Pitt or Julia Roberts, don't they?
Well, I didn't.
You are Brad Pitt, Carl. No, you're Portuguese Brad Pitt.
Definitely not. But you know what I mean.
Manchester's Brad Pitt.
I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing the videos. Let's put it like that. So.
Oh, okay, all right. That's as much as we get to see. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was good fun. Everyone's up on stage putting costumes and hats and things like that on, striking poses, singing. Great fun. Yeah.
Well, a good time was had by all, celebrating the first Christmas, of course, at the agency. How are things going on over there?
You know what? They're going really well.
Great, good for you.
Yeah, it's been a difficult year for real estate, I think, in Portugal, a lot of uncertainty. But for us, the past few months in particular, it's just all the way upwards,
All right.
So, and December's been very strong. So we're looking forward to 2024, we're expecting good things. So, yeah, we're happy.
You're even getting fan mail here, and thank you for letting us know that your nickname at school was Heidi. In fact, it was only when I said it out loud that I realised it was, Heidi, as in, Heidi, the European young lady, as well as what, of course, Mancunians would call you Heidi, wouldn't they? If you're from York.
A little story there, going back a long time ago, when my dad heard somebody call me Heidi. My brother Paul, 2 years older, was also called Heidi or Heidi. As we Northerners say it. And my dad said when he got called that at school, he went fighting because it was because of the film and the little girl type of thing. He saw that a connection. We never saw it, so it was just our nickname. But he was highly offended by it. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Okay.
Mate, you're getting fan mail here. Look at this. Your deals are being documented on the screen. Congratulations, Carl Hyde. Awesome property deal this week. Are you still celebrating that as well? Lovely deal for the most honest estate agent in Portugal. So you've got a new title as well, the most honest estate agent in Portugal. That's quite the accolade, isn't it?
Thanks, Pete. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. And he's also saying to Antonio, I hope you're having a great season. Missed you on Saturday. I think it's a bit of man cave activity. I always know when there's a man cave party. I get a call from Lee at around 1:30 on Sunday morning.
Was it just 1:30? Because I know they were out past 5 o'clock this weekend.
Were they? My
Bad
goodness.
bunch of lads.
All right. Rui and Pete, keep those Brexit comments for the conversation that we'll have. Pete, if you want to be there talking about what you see as the downside of Brexit in the UK, feel free to join us. Garvo might like to turn up for that one. Could be a very interesting evening. It's my first time in a channel like this. It's interesting to see how foreigners see Portugal from the outside or recent arrivals. And again, on that, Rui, we would be delighted to have your view on that as well. It can get a bit insular and echo chambery. We are what we are, and I welcome personally. I welcome the views from people who don't necessarily see the world in quite the same way, and can give us a bit of schooling from time to time. Certainly when they're actual native Portuguese people. Mr. S is here with a verdade as well. Is that about him being the most honest real estate agent in Portugal? Could well be from Mr. S. So congratulations, Carl. I'm glad you had a nice time at your office party. How are things in Lisbon at the moment? You said it's been a difficult year, and I want to hear from both of you about your predictions for 24, of course. But how would you review the year that's just gone? Could you extend a little bit more on that? 23 for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say real estate as a whole, it's not been sort of the stratospheric rise that it's been in the years previous. A lot of uncertainty with what happened with the golden visa, and then we sort of had the sucker punch of the NHR thing, and it just created a lot of uncertainty for people. But I think once the dust has settled, and the dust is settling, people are still coming here. A lot of people are still coming here. They're still not building enough homes. I know this is not good news for everyone, but prices are still rising. That's just a fact. I mean, people who think there's a bubble and that the prices are going to go pop and they'll grab a bargain next year, that's not going to happen, in my opinion. Everything I see, everything I read, there was an article in the Portugal News yesterday about this. Lisbon prices were up 5% in November. I don't see it going downwards, so now is a good time to buy, and that's what we're feeling at the agency. We definitely have seen a spike in the past couple of months of deals being completed, inquiries from abroad, a lot from the US. It continues unabated, so we're looking forward to 2024, and I think it's going to be a very strong year.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure this is necessarily the article you were talking about, but there's a piece here in the Portugal News. This is yesterday. Government measures to curb foreign buyers are having little impact on the cost of housing as demand continues. So that hasn't worked so far, has it? And it may never have been the right approach anyway. A good bit of political saber rattling. So we shall see as we go into the new year. We'll have a look at a lovely detached T6 family home, because we love looking at an agency property when the pair of you are here. And then we'll come back to some more of your predictions and hopes for the new year. Joseph Fisher has joined us. Based on the changes you've seen, do you expect immigration to slow after the discontinuation of the NHR? Should we deal with that one now? Thank you for that question, Joseph. Do you think this is going to quell the ardor people have for Portugal? The NHR, the discontinuation of the NHR? I think not. I mean, for some individuals, maybe it will change their business plan, but in the bigger picture, it's not going to have the desired effect. And it was always going to go anyway. I think it's been mainly a political thing. What do you think, Veronica?
Well, I'm also seeing it. I'm watching videos around the world, and I'm seeing that the players that run the world want to see everybody pay their fair share in taxes. So even in Thailand, they just removed a huge incentive, tax incentive that starts as of next year as well. So I think we're just seeing, we knew that the EU wasn't a fan of this program. And I'm saying it wasn't fair, right? That, the French had already kind of removed it somewhat for their citizens. And so I think, you know, in that Portugal offered this tax benefit to bring people into the country and move here, right? And now you've got a supply and demand issue, and then taking it away, you're also seeing developers leave. So that doesn't fix the supply and demand issue. So going back to pricing, and then to your earlier question of the year in review, my agent for this region is still #1 in the entire country of Portugal for sales, and having the prices lower. Here in this part of the Algarve, I think we do see more of a scurry to purchase here is still a bargain versus some of the larger cities. So I think, you know, and looking at it as a whole for Europe, this is still one of the best cost places to live. And again, we have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at safety, language, culture, you know, what the day-to-day life is like, quality, the roads. You know, we just went up to a dog shelter on the highway here in the Algarve yesterday to just Mont Carpaccio, which is another great, you know, hilltop town. And there's no one on the highway. I mean, it's such a difference versus being in LA, and you're like, oh my gosh, the houses are all here, you know, $1 million for a literally a crack house condo, you know, where you can still get something nice here for 200,000. You know, you can't get anything in LA, and you know, and you're like, so if you can sell your, you know, $2 million not crack condo, you know, better condo.
You know what?
Buy something here for 500,000.
I would go to that website, crackHouseCondo.com.
There was always a joke about, you know, this California fixer-upper, and this was 20 years ago, as a postcard that was just a like a barn that had fallen down, you know, $2 million. It's looking at the whole picture, and you're selling there to move here and then live on your savings. So that doesn't affect NHR. And then I have to give a big kudos to Miguel, the chartered account that most of kind of have a program here for the clients to kind of make sure that title and escrow and all those things that don't exist here kind of go through in our little bubble, because the Americans need that. That's what they're used to, having these protections of title and escrow. He was able to get Melissa and Bobby, another Bobby, their NHR within a week, and they had just got the stamp in their passports. They just went back to America, got the D7 visa, which is the retirement passive income visa, and came back. And then, you know, the NHR thing was happening as they were flying home to get their visa. They're like, oh my goodness, the visa sticker, because they already had the first part of the visa, but they hadn't gone to the SEF, now the AMI appointment, AMI visit. And he was able to get them their NHR status. And it was very interesting. I wrote this up in the article I write for the East Algarve magazine here monthly. And I put in there this article because it's important in Portugal dealing with bureaucracy that you can receive different answers. So there was a different case for the husband and wife, and the one was told, yes, we can do this. Here's your, you know, NHR status. And the other one was told, no, you can't. So knowing the Portuguese way, because you have a Portuguese CPA, went back and presented the case, and they said, okay, they fought a little bit. Okay, clearly they're married. It's the exact same case, same assets, same apartment they're renting here. They can have this pass. So then again, another reminder that if you're told no, ask, is there another way? Ask more detailed questions. What do you know? Put it through a different person. There are ways to get everything done here.
Yes, well said.
As of next year, we're not sure. But as of this year, to be able to do that, if you really want these things, some of my other clients are like, well, just wait and see, that's fine. But they really wanted it and they got it. So I think just a big reminder in changing times, because the one constant is change, right? That we remember these things and go to experts, go to Carl's experts, Carl's experts, mine, whoever you're using, ask.
And get second opinions. As you said, get second opinions. And this is something I observed clearly yesterday as a kind of piece of advice or a little lens through which to view your life here in Portugal. and it goes back to that old saying. I think it came out on the video I did with Josh and Kaylee. Be Portuguese about it. If you have an emotional reaction based on where you've come from about something you're hearing here, and you think it shouldn't be like that, it's not like that where I come from, think again and think, what would a Portuguese person do in this situation? That's the way to approach it. You're in a new country and you need to approach it like the natives do, which would be not to get offended and upset. Well, they might. I mean, they might get offended and upset, but they wouldn't stop there. They would like, okay, well, I want a second opinion. I'm not stopping here. I'm not going to be put off. This is how the Portuguese people engage with each other, I've observed, isn't it? It's like, yeah, they do get upset, but it's like, no, I'm not leaving it there. Whereas your flouncing expat may well get offended and upset, and it might be one of many reasons why, well, I'm not going to stay here anyway. So if you want to stay here, you need to get with the program, don't you? Carl, what do you think?
Well, just on what you were saying there, because I've been through the process, you have to persevere, Yeah. I always think the first time you will get rejected, you will be told it's not possible, and that you shouldn't do it. And you just have to keep going back and push back, especially if you know what the rules are, and don't accept the answer that, I mean, I was told one time, well, we don't do that here. Go to Lisbon. They might do it that way there. And that was when I was applying for my citizenship, which I totally had a right to apply for, very clearly. They just didn't want to deal with me on that day. So,
yes.
And at times I was offended, and, I complained bitterly to my wife, but now I'm sort of used to that. I think, well, we'll go the first time. We'll get told no, expect that. It doesn't happen all the time, actually, but if you expect it, and then just go back and push and talk with a different person in that office, and you will get a different result, and eventually you will get there. And it is different from what you're used to. If you're coming from the US or the UK or wherever else, it works differently. But the system.
Oh no, the DMV and citizenship is still horrible in the States. So
yeah, so
bureaucracy everywhere.
There's a million different ways of doing things, and the way you do it in your country, it's just that you're used to it, or where you're from, should I say, is the way you're used to it. But there are a million different ways to do it. So try to adapt and try to accept it. And you will complain, you will feel bad about it, but you will get there. So don't feel too downtrodden by it. Everybody goes through it. When you come to a new country, it's like being born again. You have to start the process off from the beginning, and it's painful, but it's well worth it. It really is.
Or like dating.
Use your experts too. Use your community and use your experts. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah. And beware of the emotional reaction, like being hurt about these things, because often it's not personal. And might you be looking for reasons to be hurt? Might you be wanting to be put off? If you're truly keen to be here, we may remember this morning as a golden bit of advice where, I remember what they said. They said, get a second opinion. They said, try again. And I think it really is some precious advice there. So thank you, both of you. Let's have a quick look then. Before we come to your final hopes and dreams and predictions for 24, we do like to look at an agency property. Look at this, Carl Hyde. Is that an Olympic pool at the front there?
It's a very large pool, I have to say. I'm glad I don't have to pay the maintenance on that and the upkeep. It's beautiful.
It is a beauty. Tell us more about it as we scroll through the pictures.
So this is a T6 rental that I have in Araweira. You know Araweira.
I do.
Not your dad, but T6 home, built in the 90s. T6 villa. Huge plot, 900 meters. Fantastic pool, 5 bedrooms. I'm going through the numbers now. I lose track. There's so many rooms in this building. 5 bedrooms. There's also an office. 3 of the bedrooms are en suite. Outdoor dining and barbecue area. Maintained pool. Garden maintained by the English gardener in Lisbon, Lee McGrady.
Oh my word! Okay, yeah, extra value. Yeah,
top quality. Yeah, it's a beautiful home, perfect for a family. As you'll see when you get inside on the inside picture.
We're not even inside yet, are we? Okay, so now we're through the front door. All right, fantastic. Look at that staircase.
Got those huge windows. Those huge windows opening out onto the garden and the pool. There's so many rooms. It's 6 bedrooms. There's an office. There's also a living room upstairs at the sala on the first floor, so the kids can go in there, leave you in peace. This place is it's a rental, and it's rented fully furnished and fully equipped, because previously they had the intention of it being like a short-term rental opportunity, but they decided not to go with that. And so a lot of the stuff you see there, if somebody wanted it and they didn't want it fully furnished, there is also a second floor, the loft, which is huge. And most of that furniture could be put in there out of the way. So if somebody did want to move their own furniture in, they could do that. But it is literally fully furnished and equipped. It has everything you would need. And it's beautiful, it's quiet, it's at the back of the estate. If you don't live on that road, there's no reason to be there. So the road is quiet, it's tranquil. There's a forest behind it, on the other side of that pool, sort of to the left of that image. It's a protected forest behind. So yeah, great place to live. So if you're looking for a rental in Portugal, not far from Lisbon.
Well, yeah, the added value there is that you can get to look at, for those of you who looking at buff gardeners at work, you can look at Lee from many aspects of this house while he's busy at work.
I wouldn't call him buff quite, skinny.
Wiry, the wiry
is the word.
Sinewy gardener that you can watch as added value here. Now, is it do you put dollars on your website? Is this $4,650 a month?
Yeah, I've sent you the link. I've not logged in to my account, so it's showing it in dollars, but it's 4,150 euros.
Okay, all right. Now, another option here, of course, is that a group of people could rent this, could they not? That does sound like a lot of money, but you could have 3 families living here potentially who got on well with each other, and that would be a pretty good rental value, wouldn't it, among 3 families?
Well, I'm not sure we'd get 3 families, but there is an option there if it would really suit a larger family. And yeah, the price, okay, it's not going to be for a lot of people, but we do have a lot of interest in it, particularly from families from the US and some from Germany. So potentially you could do that. It's probably not ideal for the owner, but it's a huge place.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, all right. My mind was sort of going to sort of groups of digital nomads.
The important thing with this is even if you're a family of 4, let's say, you can rent this place, and then when summertime comes and your family want to come and visit you in Portugal, you've got all those extra rooms to fill. So,
yeah, absolutely. And in fact, you could charge them, couldn't you? And you could get all that rental income back from charging friends and family to come and stay over in Portugal. Perfect. It's the result. It's a business plan right there. Thank you. Right, we're into the last minutes, both of you. Thank you so much for being here this year. It's been great fun, hasn't it? These Thursday morning get-togethers where we get to the Algarve, we get Lisbon, and your views on real estate. I think it's been very helpful to people all around the world to have you both speaking from your respective, and I was going to say different points of view. I mean, you agree on a lot of things. It's just lovely to get that American and English perspective and on 2 geographical locations as well. And you're often united in what you have to say. And there's a lot of wisdom that comes out from you both about buying or renting here in Portugal. So final word, let's go to ladies first. Veronica, what are you thinking for 24? What are you hoping for? What do you think might happen?
Well, I think this is still a location that is something special and unique and lower cost in Europe. And the weather's spectacular. For somebody like me, who's a Southern California girl, the people are still coming in, right? Maybe from other countries that are already in Europe, there might be a little bit of a slowdown if their only goal was tax savings, but there's other places within Europe with tax savings. So I think a lot of the people that move here weren't focused solely on that, especially when you're selling abroad, putting your money into a house here, and then living on less money day to day. So I personally, in the articles that I've read with supply and demand, see that things are going to continue to go up in price unless we see some larger developments, which I have yet to see. So based on what I've read and what I'm seeing, I think I hate to, pretend that I have a crystal ball, but most of the people who are moving here, at least in my neck of the woods, are not the ones where NHR is their primary concern. Their goal is retiring and retiring for less. So you make less money, you're taxed on less money. So.
Yeah, well said. Very good. Excellent insight. Thank you so much. Feliz Natal, boas festas. Bon ano novo to you. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the new year. Heidi, over to you.
I think I say this at the end of every podcast when you ask for this. I could just agree with Veronica verbatim.
Yes.
But it's true though. It's so true because the start of the year we had the golden visa issue, and everybody thought it's going to have a big. Well, I didn't think it was going to have a big impact, but the government clearly thought it would have an impact. It didn't. We had the sucker punch of the NHR, but it's not changed anything, and that's the important thing to remember. That Portugal is still the same place. It's still got a fantastic climate, 300 days of sunshine. It's got a strong, robust public healthcare system. It's got an excellent private healthcare system that is affordable. It's a high level of English proficiency. I think it's 7th in the world, and so it's still a very attractive place to be. And I think that in 2024 the market is going to remain strong, and I think we'll see the prices keep on rising. And I know that's not good for everybody, but that's just the way it is. I don't control that. Veronica doesn't control that. We're just here to represent people and help people. My opinion is that it will go from strength to strength here. And so if you're thinking of buying, I personally would not put it off. I just, get it done.
There you go. That's the most honest real estate agent in Portugal, according to Pete, who is here this morning, Carl Hyde from the agency, and of course, Veronica. You can see their details in the sleeve notes, as it were, of this show. And let's add to that this beautiful comment that's come in from Rui, who's had to go off to work by the sound of it now. He says, best wishes to all. My leisure time is over for now. Enjoy life's ups and downs. Bye. What a brilliant greeting. Oh, and Antonio, Portugal will remain golden, visa or not, NHR or not. Don't come if you don't want to fall in love. Well said. And well done. Yeah, thank you, Antonio. And from Rui, in my opinion, Portugal is still one of the best places in the world to live and retire. It's like, we didn't ask Rui to come on and say this morning. This is lovely, an unsolicited Portuguese opinion. Still one of the best places in the world to live and retire, but you need to have enough numbers coming in from anywhere. It's still an excellent mix of pros and cons, and that's a wise view, isn't it? Wherever you go in the world, whatever your life is, there will be ups and downs. He says enjoy them. And this still remains an excellent mix of pros and cons, I think, with the favour on the pros, at least for the time being in the foreseeable future, as articulated by Carl and Veronica here this morning. And because of your excellent contributions, you get 3 dad jokes to go away with. You thought I'd forgotten. Santa goes to your house down the chimney, watches you while you sleep, and everyone adores him. But when I do it, just one time. That's very good, isn't it? My grandfather told me to always buy good quality because that was some sound advice. Very good. And look at this. You may be in a similar condition to T-Duck here. And if you are this Christmas, happy Christmas to you. It's the thought that counts. After checking my bank account, it looks like everyone is getting a text message this year. Yes. Happy Christmas. That's your lot for this year. Superb work. Thank you, both of you. Have a great Christmas. Have a lovely one. Love to you and family, Carl and Veronica. Love to the whole gang in the VRSA that you're talking about so fondly earlier on. A lovely vibe in VRSA. So all the best to you both. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to more fun next year. A nice big round of applause for you, and we'll play out with our little meme video from yesterday. Take care, everybody.
Merry Christmas,
and a bye for now. Can't find a blooming meme here. Oh, this one. I want to see the looks on your faces with this one. If you like.
Is that a real one?
I'll send it to you privately. It's not the one I was looking for.
You are like the Santa. You just do it once.
That's it. I'm finished. We may not be speaking to each other next
week. Yet we can have them in our Christmas things.
We can. It's on its way to you via WhatsApp. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.